All right. So again, today's class, we're going to be teaching on the different storage devices that you can use when using a Windows computer. So there's several different ways to store information. We're going to be talking about the advantages and the disadvantages of each of those. Some of them may be familiar to you guys, things like USB flash drives or hard drive, and some of them may be new. For instance, using the cloud drive to save information. And so we'll go into a deep dive on each one of those and why I use them. And then I would love some feedback from you guys on if you guys have used any of them to understand your experience using those and some of the advantages and disadvantages that you have found. And so with that, I'll go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, there you go. You guys should now see my screen. And so many people, right, we keep books and we keep papers on our desk. And you might have notebooks, textbooks, schedules, resumes, homework on your desk. You sometimes have a lot of different things on your desk, right? Anybody here a messy desk person and they just keep everything on their desk, right? So sometimes your desk can get a little busy because you have so much going on, different things, staplers and pencil sharpeners and everything else, right? But a way to be more organized with your desk is you can put things in folders, or you can have little containers to hold your pencils, or a container to hold pens or things like that. And so that would be the equivalent of, and I'll demonstrate this shortly, of having folders on your computer to hold things that are common, right? So oftentimes on your computer, maybe you have a folder for business. Maybe you have a folder for bills. Maybe you have a folder for work and one for school if you're in school or something like that. And then within each one of those respective folders, you have all the different documents and things like that. And so I'm going to show you guys how to create documents, how to put them into folders, and then save those onto your desktop, which is saving to your hard drive. Because if you have a computer, like a laptop, for instance, your hard drive is inside of that computer. If you have a larger computer called a PC or a desktop computer, like the ones that we have at Mission Africa, where you have a bigger screen and you have a big box, and that box is connected to the monitor, that is what we call a desktop. Inside of that is a hard drive, and that hard drive is where you store your information. Okay. Normally, a hard drive on a PC or a desktop computer, again, that'd be the larger one. Normally, that is going to have a larger capacity than you would a laptop, right? So let's say, for instance, my laptop, let's just go look. So here you see, as I'm sharing my screen, you can see I have a C drive here. My C drive is my hard drive on my laptop. So if I right click this, we can just look at some properties and we can see that my laptop has a total of 935 gigabytes. Okay. So just under 1 terabyte. So a terabyte would be 1,000 gigabytes. And normally when we're talking about storage these days, we used to talk in megabytes. Now we talk in gigabytes. And so my laptop here has 935 gigabytes. You can see that I'm using 345, and free space, I have 590 gigabytes. On a desktop computer, where it says here I have almost 1 terabyte, you might expect a desktop computer to have anywhere from 5 to 20, if not 30 or 40 terabytes of information. So they can hold a substantial amount of information on a desktop computer that you may not be able to do on a laptop. Sorry, I'm just letting some people in. We had a couple people in the waiting room there. There we go. Okay. And there's one more. Okay. And so oftentimes when we're making documents, the best place to save it is going to be to your desktop. Now, I won't get into all the different places you can save on your computer. For today's purposes, we're just going to save items directly to the desktop. And again, your desktop is this area. When you open your computer, you see, some kind of a background. That is your desktop. So physically, if you're sitting at a table, of course, your desktop would be the area where your computer's at, where you take notes and so forth. If you're on a computer, your desktop is this main area where you can drop documents. So I'm just going to move a couple things over to my desktop. So you see I'm moving over some folders. I have a folder called business. I have one called bills. I have one called learning. And I'm moving over one called work. And you can see inside of each one of those, there is a little white, looks like a document. That is telling me that there's a document inside of that folder. So each one of these work, learning, bills, and business has a document inside of it. And so let's see. We're going to go ahead and use a program now. So programs make documents or files, and then you need to decide how you want to store those files or those documents. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Microsoft Word right here. And Microsoft Word is used for creating text documents, so a letter, maybe a narrative if you're writing a story, things like that, right? If you work in a work environment, you might be using it to write up some kind of a report of some findings or something that you did. And so it's used to make paper documents. You can see as I zoom out that it looks like a piece of paper, but it's just on my computer. And so as I open this, I'm just going to start typing. And I'm going to go ahead and just make a simple grocery list. So I'm just going to go ahead and type grocery list. I'm going to come down and I'm going to make some bulleted points. What do you guys want to put on our grocery list? What's on the grocery list at home? Let's put bread,
Milk,
butter.
egg,
Thank you. Milk,
tomatoes,
eggs. Oh, y'all got me working now. Tomato. Did I get a E on it or not? Tomato? Tomato?
toast,
Uh, squash. Oh, I'm glad that we're eating healthy here. Let's keep it in that line. Let's get some
onion,
water, onion,
fruits,
some fruit. I feel like I'm making a grocery list for my kids' lunch. Okay, let's do one more. What's one more?
oil, cooking oil.
Oil. Yes,
Hmm.
cooking oil. Perfect. Thank you. I said cookie oil. You can see where my brain's at. Cooking oil.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm adding that on there. Cookies for someone on this call. No names. Okay. So I know somebody wants a cookie, but they don't want to say it. So I wrote that for you. Okay. So we got our grocery list here. I'm just going to do a little editing. I want to make it bold. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So we got our grocery list here. It's ready to go. But this isn't saved yet. Now, as you see up here, it says document one. That is telling me that this document is not saved. So if my computer cut off right now, let's say it ran out of battery, or I closed my computer, or even if I closed this document and didn't save it, I wouldn't be able to retrieve this document. So what we want to do is we just want to go to anytime you have a new document and you're working in Microsoft Word or Excel, you can always come here to File, and then there's an option here to Save As. Save As is the preferred method for saving because it allows you to choose the location and then give it a name. So I'm going to go ahead and open up and see here it's saying, well, this is the location at the top. So currently, if I saved it right now, I'd be saving to the C drive, which is my hard drive, under my profile on this computer, because computers can have multiple profiles. So I'm under my profile, and then I can just save it right here. Let's go to documents, and I'm just going to save it on the desktop, okay? Let's go to desktop right there, okay? And we're going to call it grocery list. So here's the name where it says file name. That is going to be the name of your file. And then up here is the location. So I'm saving it to the desktop. I'm going to hit save. And it does its little magic there. And boom. Now you should see that it's up here. And now it says saved. And it's called grocery list. And it says saved. So now I can close this. And let me go find the document on my desktop and just move it over. So there it is. So you can see now we have a document called grocery list. And I didn't even spell it right. Let me fix that. Grocery list. Okay. So here is our document. It's called grocery list. You can see that it's a Microsoft Word document. And this is saved to our desktop. Okay. And so let's say that I wanted to move this into my one of my folders. So this is my work folder. We got a learning folder. Let's move this back. Yeah. So let's say I had a folder. I can right click on my screen. If I right click on my desktop, it gives me some options. And one of those options is to create a new something. So you can create a new, all of these files, or you can create a new folder. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it grocery list. Because let's say I do one of these a week, right? So every week I make a new one. I'm just going to click on that file. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm using my left click. So I'm going to use my left click and hold, and I'm going to move it over, and then I'm going to drop it right there in grocery list. So now that document, we can see that it's in there, and it's hiding in there behind this folder. And if I open it up, it says grocery list, and now there's my grocery list. Okay. So this is the simplest way to create a document, to save a document. Some of the advantages of having documents on your desktop is, number one, they're easy to find on your desktop. You don't have to really search for it. You open up your computer and it's right there. You're good to go. So that's one of the advantages of putting items on your desktop. Let's see, a disadvantage of having things on your computer and on your desktop is that when you put things on your computer, if your computer crashes or your computer malfunctions, you could lose that document. And that does happen, by the way. Sometimes people say, well, does that actually happen? Well, it does. And then you could lose your document. And so I would say that if you have large documents also, you don't want to save them to your computer. They can take up a lot of space. And when I say large document, think about like an electronic copy of an entire movie, right? Like a 2-hour copy of a high definition movie, or something like that, a long video, things like that take up a lot of storage. And we normally aren't going to be saving those things onto our directly onto our hard drive. Maybe we use an external drive, or maybe even the cloud, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. Okay.
Eric, before you move from there,
yes.
Okay, the grocery list shows a green tick, but sometimes it shows that cloud. What is the what does that mean?
Yes, thank you for asking. That means that this item is backed up to the cloud. So I have my, and this is more complex. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but this just tells you that this document is also backed up to the cloud, because I have my personal computer set up so that everything on my computer gets backed up to my OneDrive account. And OneDrive is a cloud, meaning that like it's saved on a computer that's not physically here at my house. It's saved on a computer that we pay a monthly fee for cloud services, and then it's held at Microsoft in a big cloud on a big computer. So again, I can really never lose it if it's on the cloud. So that's what this little check mark is saying right here. It's telling me that this item is on my computer, but a backup copy is on the cloud.
So if I delete it, if you delete it from this computer, will it be deleted from the cloud?
No. So, okay, so you said the word delete. We wouldn't delete it from here. We can right click this item. And you see there's some options here. I can always keep on this device. I can free up space, or I can come into OneDrive and do some things. So OneDrive is the cloud, the backup copy. So if I hit free up space, watch what happens. So you see that green mark there? I'm going to right click this file and I'm going to do free up space.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see that it changed to a cloud?
Yes.
Okay, so now this document is not on my computer anymore. It's no longer taking up space on my computer. It's here in this folder, but not really. It's saved on the cloud.
Oh, nice, because I need to clear my computer. It's full.
Yeah, so one of the things you can do is if, let's say you have a folder that has a lot of stuff in it, you don't want to delete it, but it's taking up a lot of space on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you can do, let's say this folder called business, let's say you've been in business for 15 years and you're like, I got, I don't know, 20 gigabytes of information in there, and I just want to get it off my computer because if you're using all of your hard drive space on your computer or the majority of it, it's going to slow your computer down. You want to have a lot of free space on there. And so if you have things that are taking up a lot of space, it could be advantageous and it could help speed up the performance of your computer. If you can move those things, especially if you're not using them often, you can move them to the cloud. And so if you have a
Yeah.
system set up like I have here, where everything is backed up automatically. And PCs, when you buy a PC, it kind of walks you through setting this up because they know that most people want to have a backup. And it's also good for them because as you back up stuff, you have to pay the monthly fee. But it's nice because your stuff is backed up. But let's say this had 50 gigabytes of information in it, this business folder. You could just right click it and you could do free up space, which means free up space on your computer. And then when you click that, it would move this whole folder. It would just keep the copy on the cloud, but it would delete the local copy that's on your computer. So it would free up a
Thank
lot of
you.
space on your
That's
computer.
awesome. Yeah, now
Yeah.
I'm glad. Because I was
Yes.
afraid I thought it would disappear.
Yeah, no. And so right now, this document is still on the cloud. So again, if I come over to it now and I say, you know what, actually, I want to keep this on my device and I want it backed up, I can go to always keep on device. It refreshes, and now this document is on my computer and is backed up to the cloud.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah. So when you're dealing with small files, it's not that important. But if you start dealing with like large videos and lots of photos and folders of folders of folders, and it starts to add up, this can make a big difference to the performance of your computer to keep some of those things just on the cloud that you don't need a lot and just keep a local copy, meaning on your computer, the things that you need access to quickly.
Thank you.
Great question. Yes. And so files can be, of course, again, saved in multiple different places on your computer, just like we showed on the desktop here in this area, or you can put folders on your desktop and save items within those folders. As you can imagine, the longer you use a computer, I would suggest that you get used to using folders because every document on your computer, you don't want it to be on the desktop. It's smart to be able to start say, hey, some of these documents are related. Maybe they're work related or they're personal finance related or church related or business related. And you can create those documents and keep them in a proper place. It also helps you keep organized and you're going to be able to find that much faster. Okay, perfect. So let's go look at a reference really quick. So this is what a hard drive looks like. So most of you probably, if you've been to the Mission Africa office, you recognize this machine here on the left. This is a PC, or what we would call a desktop computer. If you open it up, this is what it looks like over here. So it looks like that. So it's just a disk that spins really fast. And that is your hard drive. Again, the advantages, if you have a large hard drive on a big computer, it can hold a lot of information. It does have a limit though, but it can break, right? And so you oftentimes want to back up things that are on your hard drive. And a laptop hard drive would have less storage than a larger desktop computer hard drive. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about the second way that you can save files. So the second way is this little thing right here, if y'all can see my camera. What is this called? I know you guys have used this before.
Flash drive.
Flash drive, exactly. And so flash drives are great. We don't use them as much as we used to. Flash drives are great if you just have like a few things that, you're working with someone and you're physically with them and you want to maybe grab it off your computer, take it over to their computer, load it onto their computer. It's really great for that, right? One of the problems with a flash drive is if you lose this, you lose the files on it. So the file is physically on this little thing. Are these little things easy to lose? Yes. I've lost many of them. I'm surprised I actually have this one right now, to be honest with you. And so this one here is 64 gigabytes, so it can hold quite a bit. Again, it's not 100 gigabytes, so you probably wouldn't be able to put, maybe a handful of movies in full HD quality on this. But again, like if you're talking about years and years of family photos, for instance, if you have an iPhone or a Samsung phone and you've had it for a while, you probably have, I would guess, around 100 gigabytes of photos and videos because we all take photos and videos every day, right? And over time that adds up. And so, again, a thumb drive like this only holds 64 gigabytes, so it wouldn't even hold all your photos. Okay, so that's one of the limits of using a thumb drive is how much information it can use, but they do tend to move information quickly. One of the disadvantages is you can lose it. Also, another disadvantage is that it has a very small size, right? And so this is what it looks like. Another advantage of a thumb drive is they're cheap. So I think I bought this one for probably 20 bucks or so. So it's not very expensive. There's no monthly fees associated, of course, which we'll discuss when we talk about the cloud. There can be and likely will be fees associated with some of the cloud services that are out there. Okay. All right. So let me show you what happens when I plug this in to my desktop. So again, we have this folder called grocery list right here. It has our grocery list in it that we created. And I'm just going to go up. I'm going to go ahead and plug this into my computer. I want you to watch my screen and see what happens. All right, I just plugged it in. Did you guys notice anything down here? You should have noticed that this is a new drive. So drive D is brand new. So that popped in as soon as I plugged in the thumb drive, disk D showed up. So I'll show you again. So I'm going to unplug it, watch it go away. See, so D just got removed. I'm going to plug it back in. And then D drive pops back up. So D drive is the thumb drive. So if I wanted to save something to the thumb drive, I would need to save it to this location here. So let's click on it really quick and see what's going on. So in D drive, it looks like I've got some files here, which is great. Let's say I wanted to move my grocery list onto the thumb drive. Again, we can see here it says D drive. So let's start from the beginning. How would I get to D drive? The first thing I would need to do is go to File Explorer right here. So File Explorer, and then you want to find the thumb drive. In this case, we know it's D. And then to put the file on there, you just simply, I'm just going to move this around so you can see. I just would, again, the same way that I move the file into the groceries folder, now I can grab this entire folder. If it was a file, I could do it the same way. But you can click, hold, drag, and then drop it onto the D drive. So here you see D drive, and now we have grocery list, and it's on the D drive. So if I close this out, D drive is still there, a copy of it. But if I, again, open up File Explorer, come down to D drive, here's grocery list, and there's the file. Okay. So again, a decent option, not a bad option, especially if you're on a budget or you don't have a lot of files. This can be a great option. One of the, again, drawbacks of using a thumb drive, though, is very, very easy to lose. I can't remember the last time I had a thumb drive that I didn't lose, like, I don't know, every 45 days or so. Okay. Just being honest with you. All right. Let's see. Okay. Perfect. So the third one is the one I want to spend the rest of class on. I think this one's important because this is one that's newer. You may not have used it before, but it's very important. And it's kind of the direction that everything is going. And that is the cloud. So who here's used the cloud before? Or do you know what the cloud is? Anybody can describe the cloud to me? Anybody know any names of any clouds where you can save information?
Yes, there's iCloud for iPhones.
Yeah, iCloud. If you have an iPhone, it backs up your phone, and it normally does that every couple of days probably. It backs up your entire phone. So if you lost your phone, you can go to the Apple Store, buy a new phone, log into your account using your email and your password. You can log into your account, and it will download the backup copy from the cloud, which is iCloud, to your phone, and it's like you never lost your phone. It's really great, right? Because everything on your phone is being backed up to iCloud. Another example of a cloud is AWS. It's more for businesses. So a lot of businesses use AWS, which is Amazon Web Services. A lot of people don't know that about Amazon. It's actually one of their bigger divisions at Amazon, probably just as big as the Amazon.com that we all know. And it's called AWS. And they work with a lot of businesses and governments to back up their data. And so let's talk a little bit about what a cloud is. So a cloud is really a big building full of supercomputers. They normally put them in places like Kansas and very like inexpensive places because they draw a ton of energy off of the grid. So they take a lot of power to operate. They put out a lot of heat because computers heat up when they're processing information, right? And they typically people don't like to live very close to them because again, there's a lot of electricity happening, right? It'd be kind of like living close to big power lines, right? And so they are located across the country in various locations. So if you put a document on the cloud, it probably actually lives in multiple locations, and they do that. So if there's a natural disaster, let's say there's a cloud in Washington State, there's one in Kansas, and there's one in Virginia. They do that, and there's a copy of your file on all three locations. So if there's a natural disaster in Washington State, you don't lose your files because it's backed up 2 more times in the middle of the country and in the East Coast. So that's one of the advantages of using the cloud. It is much more secure. You can almost have unlimited amount of storage because they are what we call elastic, meaning that as you need more storage, it becomes available, right? So if you start off a business and you only need a gigabyte of storage because you're a brand new small business, you just launched, you don't have any employees or anything. But as time goes on, your business grows, you get more contracts, employees, more paperwork. Maybe you're doing more marketing materials and so forth. You're hosting a website. You might need 100 gigabytes or a terabyte. So the cloud is elastic and it can grow with your needs, and it can also shrink with your needs. If you experience a lot of traffic and do a lot during the holidays, and you need more storage during the holidays versus the non-holidays, again, is very flexible, and it's what we call elastic. So it can stretch, it can do more when you need it to be, and it can also come back down when you don't need it, right? And so that's one of the advantages of using the cloud. Another one that we use is, let's go over here. So these are the 2 we're going to talk about today. So I'll start with this one here on the right called OneDrive. So this is what my computer is using right now. So you guys saw that little cloud that Pastor Zippy asked about a little bit earlier. So when you buy a PC, set you up so that your PC gets backed up to OneDrive. So I think we pay somewhere around, I don't know, $10 a month or so, and all of our Windows devices are backed up to OneDrive, and everything lives there. So again, if I lost my computer, or it was stolen or it's damaged and I couldn't access it, everything is backed up on OneDrive. So just like your iPhone and iCloud, if I went and bought a new laptop, I could then log into my account on OneDrive, hit download, and it would bring everything back down to my laptop just like I never lost it or it got damaged. So very cool, very good. That's Microsoft's cloud. So
Yes,
OneDrive
mine
is
has
Microsoft.
given me 5. It says it has 5, it can back up in 5 devices.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Exactly. Right. And so it's a very nice function that just gives you peace of mind, I would say, about not having to worry about if something happens to your laptop or if it gets stolen, you're going to lose all your information because it's in the cloud, so no one can steal it. The other one we're going to talk about and spend the rest of class on is Google Drive. And I like this one because it's free if you have a Gmail account. So if you have a Gmail account, you actually have a Google account. Okay. So I'll say it like this: Google is the parent to a lot of different applications, and Gmail is just one of those applications under your Google account. So let's talk about that and let me demonstrate. So here I'm logged into a Google account. You guys can see my Gmail account, right? Oh, sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. One second. Let me pull it back up. Go. Gmail. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I am in a Gmail account. And again, a Gmail account is actually a Google account. So when you sign up for Gmail, you're signing up for a Google account. So if I go here, when you see this E, so your initial, or if you've uploaded a photo, you might see a photo here. That tells you that you're logged in. That's the first thing to understand is to get to your Google account or your Gmail account. Of course, you have to be logged in. So now that I'm logged in, you can see here it's info@summitsupportwa.com, which is in the background is really just using a Google account in the background. And so if I click here on these 9 dots, you can see there's a lot of different applications under your Google account. So these are all accessible using your Google account. And I'm just getting to it through Gmail, but it's allowing me access to all of this. So Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Meet, which is like FaceTime, Google Chat, Google Calendar. Of course, Google Docs is much like Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is very much like Excel, or Google Slides, which is like PowerPoint. But today we're going to be focusing primarily on Drive. Oh, also, by the way, Google Forms, which is really cool because you can do surveys and send survey links to people and say, hey, please take my survey and provide some feedback about my business. So Google Forms is really good for that. So we'll teach that in another class. But let's focus on Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. All right. So now we have Google Drive here. You see this up here. You see the new button. And again, doesn't this feel like Gmail, right? It's kind of the same structure. You got your menus on the left. You got your documents here in the middle. I also might have some folders that I have saved in my Google Drive. So I have files and folders, and they're all here. And again, these are on the cloud. They're on my Google Drive. And so I can access these anywhere I can log into this Gmail account. So let's talk about how to upload a document to the Google Drive. So I'm just going to move these documents over here really quick, just make them a little bit easier so I can make my screen a little bit wider. There you go. Okay. And so to move the grocery list again, let's say I wanted to put my grocery list onto the cloud. Again, I can do it 2 ways. I can drag and drop. See there, when I haven't let go yet. So it says drop files to upload them to my drive. So let's say I do that. Let's go ahead and do that. and it says starting upload, one upload complete. Where did it go? I don't see it here because it's under folders. So if I refresh, and this is the refresh button, well, it's gone now, but there it is, grocery list. So I just hit this refresh button. Again, under folders, because I know I moved a folder over. I didn't move a file. So files would be here, folders here. And if I go to grocery list, I can double click it and I can see that there's a file in there called grocery list doc. So let's say instead of sending this to my wife, maybe she's at the grocery store and I'm like, oh, I got to get her the grocery list. What can I do? How can I share this with her so that she can see the grocery list if she happens to be the one getting the groceries today? So this is the fun part, by the way, y'all. This is when it gets really fun. Okay. So you have the grocery list here. I can go over here to more options. And there's an option to share. So I'm going to go share, and then I'm going to click share. And then it says, who do you want to share this with? Add a person, a group, or a calendar event. So I'm going to go ahead and add her, Erica. This is her business email. And then it gives me an option. What type of access do I want her to have to this document? Do I want her to be an editor? So editor would have full access. They can delete it. They can move it around. They can change document. They can, do whatever, just like you can as the owner. So that would be an editor. So this is essentially full power. They could be a commenter. What can a commenter do? A commenter they can't change the document, but they can provide comments. So they can say, let's say you told them to get something, they can say, yes, I got this item, but they can't remove that item from the list. And then you have a viewer. A viewer, all they can do is view it. They can't change anything. So let's say your kids are at the grocery store and you don't want them to change your list. You just want them to be able to see it so that they can go follow the list. Just make them a viewer. Okay. So these are all the choices. And then one of the cool last things is you can add an expiration. So you can make someone an editor, a comment, or a viewer for a certain amount of time. Add expiration. See here, it says access expires on May 25th at 11:59. So if I gave Erica access to this document, it would expire tonight at 11:59 p.m. And then I could say, hey, honey, here's the grocery list. See you when you get home. And then I hit send, and it's going to send her an email with a copy of that document. And because she has editor access, she would actually be able to edit it on her own. I'm going to go ahead and add my personal email so you guys can see what it looks like to receive this. So I added my wife and my personal email because I'm sending this from my business. Access expires on May 25th. We both have editor, and I'm sending the grocery list. Is everyone tracking so far what we're doing?
Yeah, it's really nice. I didn't know it has an expiry.
Yes, it does. So that's nice if you only want someone to have access to a document for a couple days so that they can provide feedback, but then you don't want them to be able to access it anymore. And so I'm going to hit send. It says that Eric.Hunter4 is external to SSA, which is our business. So I'm going to go ahead and share anyway. Not a problem. Access has been updated. Okay. So now let me go back to my personal Gmail account. I'll show you what it looks like to receive. So I should have received an email here saying that I was granted access to a document. And here we go. So it says, Eric Hunter shared a document with you. And then it says the email address that has invited you to edit the following document. There's the note that we put in it. And then here's the list. So if I hit open, it actually opens it in Google Docs, which I think is interesting. It wants me to verify. Okay, I'm not going to go ahead and do it because it's like I'm logged into multiple accounts right now. But bottom line is, you can open up this grocery list here. Let's see if it'll just let me download it into Word. It knows I'm logged into multiple Google accounts and it doesn't like it. Info. Yeah. There we go. Okay, I got it. So I was able to open up that document, and then let's say I'm at the grocery store and I'm looking at this on my phone, which is possible. So I can say, got it, got it. And again, I'm logged in as eric.hunter4@gmail right now. Got it, which is not the original maker of this document, but I have editor access. Couldn't find it. Water, drink from the fridge. Water is free. Onion. These make me cry. I didn't get it. I'm just having fun with y'all now. Fruit. I got grapes. Cooking oil. Which one? I got peanut oil. And then tomato. I got plenty. Okay. So there we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and just hit, if I hit this button here. So notice, by the way, that is showing here that this document status is showing a cloud with a check mark. That tells me that it's saved. So watch this little cloud when I change something. See what it's doing? It says saving, saved to drive. So as I'm typing, it's re-saving. Every time I change something, it'll do that. Watch this. I'm going to type no again. Saving, 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 save to drive. So this document, this is one of the advantages of using the cloud, is as you're working, everything is saving in live time. So you don't even have to remember to hit save. It's automatically saving for you. And I'm in editor again. I'm not the original maker of this document. I'm in edit mode. So I made my edits, and then I'm just going to go ahead and close it out. All right. So remember, we made some comments about all the things that we bought at the grocery store. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close out of this account. I'm going to go back to the original account that we used to create this document right here. And let's see what happened. So it looks like we edited the document. Let's see if it worked. And there we go. So again, I'm back in the original account that created it. I sent it to my personal account and my wife's account, made some edits to it, and then saved it, and all the edits took place here, and we can see that all the edits happened. Again, what's the advantages of working in the cloud? There's a couple things. Unlimited space. It's elastic, so it can shrink and expand with your business or your personal life as needed. Another advantage of using the cloud is great for collaboration, as you just saw. I made the document. I sent it to multiple people. Everyone can put their input, and you can collaborate without having, if you've ever worked with physical documents or documents on your computer or a thumb drive, you have multiple versions of the same document sometimes, and it can get a little tricky. With the cloud, you can just have one document, share it with 100 people. Everyone can put their input or work on it together. So it actually makes it really, let's say you were writing a book and you had a chapter on one thing, you had another chapter on another thing, another chapter on another thing. You could actually have one document open and each person is working on their chapter within the same document. So at the same time, you're all working on one document, but just in different places. And it's really, really, really cool to do that actually, because you can see the changes that they're making on the document as you're working on it. You can also see the changes they're making in real time. It's pretty cool. And so those are some advantages of the cloud. Some disadvantages of the cloud, you have to pay for it. It costs a monthly fee normally, so you are going to have another fee. They tend to be reasonable, under $20 a month. Again, it allows you to collaborate for businesses. Is essential because, again, in the business world these days, everything you do is about collaboration and who are you working with, where are they at. Oftentimes, you might even be working with people not in the same country as you. And so, if you're able to work on the cloud, it allows you to work with people anywhere in the world. No dealing with thumb drives or hard drives. Everything is in the cloud. You collaborate there. You work on a document, you share it with someone on the other side of the globe, maybe let's say in Africa. They work on it while you're sleeping, and then when you wake up, the document's updated. You get it back, and then you wrap it up, you finish it, and go final on it, right? So there's a lot of advantages to using the cloud. Are there any questions? Got to be some questions. No? If not, we have a little bit of a review. Okay, let's do that then. All right. So for review,
But I think Eric, my Google Cloud tells me my storage is only up to 15 GB. So
yes.
beyond 15 GB, I have to pay.
Yes. So a couple things you can do is there should be some options in there when you log in. It should say some options for cleanup. Oftentimes you can clean out your spam because you don't need that, obviously. You can clean out items that you've deleted. But one thing about Google and Gmail is when you delete something, it's actually not deleted. You have to double delete to actually get it to remove the space. So you can remove those items that are deleted but not completely gone. Sometimes it'll give you options to just clean up your Google Drive so that you can save space. If you're full, then yes, this is where you have to start paying a monthly fee to have that access. So again, for personal use, most people don't really need a lot of Google Drive. But if you're going to be running a business and collaborating with other people, it's definitely an affordable way to operate and collaborate with other people because you're talking about less than $20 a month or so.
Thank you. That was a good one.
Yeah. And do research. There's different ones out there. I feel like Google Drive is probably the easiest because we're all most familiar with Google and Gmail, so it's going to be a familiar format. It's going to look very familiar to Gmail, but it's just holding your documents instead of your email in your folders. Okay, so let's go through this a little bit. So it says below is a list of advantages and disadvantages of storage devices. Organize the advantages and disadvantages into the tables for hard drives, clouds, and so forth. Okay, so which one doesn't break? Out of the three, hard drive, cloud, or USB drive, which one isn't really going to break ever? Hard drive, cloud, or USB drive?
Cloud.
The cloud, exactly. Which one has lots of space? Which one has the most space?
Cloud.
The cloud. Which one has the least amount of space? A USB drive or a hard drive?
USB.
Probably USB.
I think hard drives, some USB drives can have a lot of space from
That's
the
true.
more than the hard
That's
drive.
true. That's true. But if you're talking about a PC could have, a terabyte, it could be 2 terabytes. A flash drive can get that big, but they can start to get expensive when they get that big also. And there's some really fancy hard drives or USB drives rather. There's some USB drives that only work when you put your fingerprint on it, or they might have a code you have to put into it. And so that way you can secure the documents on that USB drive, where if someone didn't have your code, they wouldn't be able to access the documents on the USB drive. Or in some cases, I used to have one that was fingerprint, so I had to put my fingerprint on the thumb drive, and then it would open it up on the computer so I could look at the documents. Which one's portable, easy to move? Hard drive, cloud, or USB drive?
USB.
Which one's easy to lose?
USB.
Mm-hmm. Which one do you have to pay for more space?
Cloud.
The cloud, right? But this is an advantage of the cloud. Anyone ever had a hard drive or a thumb drive that was full, and then what do you do? Like you can't, it's not very easy to expand storage on a laptop or a desktop. But with the cloud, just like you were just saying, Pastor Winnie, like it says, oh, you're full. Oh, just purchase more space, right? But the disadvantage of that is every couple of years you're going to fill up and then you have to keep adding and then it becomes this bill, right? So a little bit tricky there. Okay. Which one can you use anywhere without the internet? So you can use it anywhere without the internet. Which one does not require internet? Hard drive,
Cloud.
USB flash.
USB and hard drive, right?
Mm-hmm.
If something's on your computer, you don't need the internet. You need the internet for cloud, though. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it for that one. Let's see. We already talked about that. We talked about that. Okay, let's do this one here, and then we'll wrap up. We're almost at time. So let's read through this together and let's come up with a decision. So situation one, we're going to have choice of hard drive, USB drive, or cloud drive. Maria is typing a paper at the library. She wants to finish it at home, but Maria doesn't have internet at home. So you're at the library, you're working on a document on the computer at the library. You don't have internet at home. What would be the best way to save the paper so you can work on it at home? Hard drive or
Hard
USB drive?
USB.
USB flash.
And why not hard drive? I think USB is correct. Why not hard drive?
Because you need, don't you need the
Because
internet for the hard drive?
hard
So
drive has to be attached to
no,
the
but a
internet.
hard drive would be attached to your computer. But
Yes.
in this case, you're at the library, presumably working on a library computer, so you can't take that computer home. So your best option in that case is take
Yes.
this thumb
Yes.
drive, right? Take that thumb drive, plug it into the computer at the library, put your document on it, and then go home. And presumably, again, you have a computer there that you can plug it in, and then you can keep working on that document at home. Situation two, Sam has a lot of movies he downloaded from the internet. The files are very big and they take up a lot of space. He only wants to watch them on his home computer. What would be the best option for saving those large movies on his home computer, being able to watch
Hard
them at
drive.
home?
Hard drive.
Yeah, either a hard drive, right, which is going to be on your big computer, your desktop computer, and possibly if he wants to pay for the storage, he could put it on the cloud also, and he could watch it from home on the cloud. Okay. Awale just finished his taxes. He wants to back up his tax files. Awale wants an extra copy in case his computer breaks. Where should he back up his tax files? So it's on his computer, his hard drive, because it says Awale just finished his taxes. He wants to back them up. Where should he put an extra copy at? Hard drive, USB, or cloud?
No, cloud.
On the cloud, exactly, because you're never going to lose it on the cloud. Never, right? A hard drive can get destroyed, it can get injured, it can break. A USB file, as we talked about, can get lost. So your best option here is a cloud drive. The only thing you have to remember with the cloud drive, and this isn't always easy, is you have to remember the username and password to get in, right? So as long as you remember that username and password, you're going to be okay. And even if you lose the password, you can always reset your password, right? Okay, last one. Amrit is taking class notes on a school computer. Amrit wants to read his notes at home and at the library. He has internet at school, at home, and at the library. Where should he save his class notes?
USB.
You can do iCloud or flash disk.
USB, I think.
Let's see. So because it mentions that he has internet at home and school and everything,
USB.
I think they're
USB.
pushing us towards the cloud because that way you can access it anywhere. And one of the huge benefits of the cloud is all those documents we did, I can also access my cloud from my phone. So if I'm at the grocery store, like we talked about in the earlier example, I can pull down that document anytime that I want, and I can. Let me see here. Let's see something. Yeah, one of the big advantages of iCloud is that you can access things from anywhere on a multitude of different devices, right? So, for instance, I am here. I'll show you guys this. I'm in my personal Gmail on my phone, and there's our grocery list. So the cloud is amazing because I can pull it up on my phone. Anywhere I can have access to the internet and I can get to my Google account, I can pull up anything that's in my Google Cloud. So I could be on my wife's computer, I could be on her phone, I could be on my kid's computer, I could go to the library and log into my Google account. Anywhere I can access my Google account, I can access my Google Drive. So very accessible from anywhere that has internet access. All right, that is it, guys.